Welcome to Blockchain Basement. My name is TJ. On today's episode, we're going to talk about Bitcoin absolutely ripping through 30K, Twitter potentially offering Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrencies to buy and to sell. And are we at the end of inflation? All this and more on today's Blockchain Basement. Let's go.
Oh, yeah.
Bum, 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 bum. You ready for this? I'm ready. Welcome.
If you're going to screw me, at least pull my hair.
Hell yeah. What you got?
They could start chopping off fingers. They're like, give me your seed phrase, but I don't know it.
Out to give the numbers out. And I was like, no, hang up the phone right now.
Or like when it dropped in 2020, was it like exciting?
400,000 to 600,000. The generational signals are now.
Level. So I don't even know if we're going to get back below there. But if we do, that's kind of where we...
All right, welcome in, Basement Dollars. Have a good show for you guys today. The one and only Nick Tater is back. I know you guys were missing him yesterday. We've got Tim Warren, a lot of positive comments from him yesterday. The wonderful Hannah Hughes, and on the board, it's not Biscuit Jesus, it's the Druth. I kind of forgot he was over there yesterday, so we're gonna try to get him a little bit more involved today. He's so quiet.
Proud father today.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
What?
I had chickens born, chicks, all over the place.
How many?
5 so far, and I got some neighbors that wanted some, so I'm pretty excited to spread the love, get all the chickens around my neighborhood so they don't bother me if everything goes to hell. Get off my yard.
Awesome. And then, of course, always shout out to all of you guys. Big Daddy, Husker Dan, King D, Crypto Butts, Trave, Tarvo, Raba, Blazing 2JZ, Manawak, Crimson Caravan Company. Oh, Corey Harden, Manawak, Razmataz, Crimson Caravan Company. I'm going to check on that merch. Actually, Hannah, you might be able to. To get with Morel. Crimson Caravan Company, they ordered one of the altcoin hoodies or one of the Bitcoin hoodies like 2-3 weeks ago. He said his wife got it for him and he hasn't got it back, or he hasn't seen anything yet. And I don't know if there's tracking on it or whatever. So we could just try to check with Morel on that.
We can check on it today for you.
Awesome. Thank you.
So
yeah, Bitcoin over 30,000. How's everybody feeling? In a good mood? I mean, everybody, it seems like, is in a little bit of a better mood today. Oh, it was the shirts, not the hoodie. Okay. So yeah, Nick, how you feeling with the price being up?
I'm sad.
Sad? Oh, because you're wanting to buy more?
Because I want to buy more. I mean, I will buy more, but now I get less bang.
Okay. Well, yeah. And Tim, how you feeling?
I'm good. I told you guys yesterday. I'm looking at the 50 shorter timeline though. If people are looking at those charts, just kind of zoom out. Look at that move from when we went back down to about 20 or so, and then came back up. We got a little bit of a bull flag that would put us up to 36,000. So while I am more bullish and I'm looking, to go higher at 36,000 definitely looks like the next spot to keep an eye. I know people are gonna say 32. You gotta watch 32, but to me, 36 is the next spot I'm watching.
Yeah, well, I'll have to check that out. I know you said 36?
36.
Yeah, I've been thinking in my head, and I could be wrong. Crimson Caravan Company or Chemistry Bro corrected me on the morning stream on this. I had been thinking there's some pretty good resistance at 40K. I think he said technically it's at like 45 or 47 or something, a little bit higher than 40K. I just remember thinking that after we broke below 40 is when everything kind of, all the hell broke loose on the bear market and everything started crashing, but it might have been more like 42, 43.
42.
Yeah. So maybe it was 42. So
yeah, 42.
Maybe that's where we move up to and start seeing the pullback from there. I mean, a lot of people, and we're going to get into that a little bit later in today's show. Why does that look so, go back to that shot.
A little bright.
Well, it's bright, but also something else looks different. Everything looks twisted or something. One of these days, we're going to stop moving the set every single day.
Yeah.
But hey, it's a little Easter egg for you guys at home, I guess, to get a little different angle. But
It is.
yeah, that's part of what I want to look at. I mean, and I want to let us know in the chat, are you happy that the price is pumping because your bags are packed and you're ready for this, or you're sad because you wanted to keep buying more? Either way, I will say I do think you're going to get another chance to see. I want to say it was Selkis, 2-bit idiot, tweeted like, "Oh, can't believe we're never going to see Bitcoin under 30K again."
No, please.
I think he was a little tongue in cheek with that, but you will, guys. I think you'll get another chance in the 25s. Even I think we're even going to go back and retest 20. There is a CME gap at the right above $20,000 that they were asking about on today's morning stream. If we were going to hit
20,300.
There you go.
Where it's at
20,300.
You know, I'm in a weird spot. I'm like happy because I like spent every dime I could when we were at 17K and every dime I could when we were at 20K. And I'm still annoyed at the price moving upwards right now because I haven't had time to really explain what this technology is to my friends. I got like a friend that's a trucker and he's trying to find a way. Now he's got some money together and he's wanting to buy a home. And he's trying to wrap his head around this, you know, what Bitcoin is and this entire realm of technology and the whole reason why you buy. I started with the inflation and looking at that, but I just don't feel like I have enough time to explain to my loved ones and friends the dire situation that our dollar is facing right now as far as evaluation and really explain the reasons why I'm in crypto. I'll get the same call every week where they call me back and they're like, explain this to me again. And then they'll call me back the week after that. I didn't do it yet. Explain it to me again. And it's like time just is running out. And I'm like, I'm kind of aggravated that we're over 30K, to be honest with you. But that's just me being selfish, wanting more time.
Well, no, I mean, I think it's pretty noble that you feel that way. But I will say, and this is, I mean, I feel like it's a feeling a lot of people go through. Like if you're really passionate about something, you really care about something, whether it's the people, you know, this new asset that maybe could change their lives and you really want to see them get on board and it's just not happening. It sounds like it's not that you're running out of time to explain it to them because you have explained it to them multiple times. You're running out of time for them to understand it.
Yes.
And you also explain it all, you know, you come here and you make videos and we talk about this all day. And that was something I used to get frustrated with, where I was spend all my time explaining it to people, texting people, messaging people, trying to help them understand it. And then eventually got to the point where we were just making videos. I'm like, I made a video about that. Just watch the video. And if they don't want to watch the video and they don't want to actually take any action on their own, that's when you can kind of see, you know, where the issue is. It's not really you explaining it. It's the fact that people don't want to take the actual initiative to learn and understand it themselves and to take action themselves until after the fact, and it's already happened. Then they see all your success and like, oh, why didn't you tell me? And you're like, bro,
and then you can't help them.
I told you. I told you so many times.
That's it, man. So
so I mean, that's just part of it, you know. Like, and I think, long story short, I think you're doing a great job, Drew.
I'm trying.
Yeah.
Hey, I got this like rich family friend that like, you know, instead of buying crypto, I want to try to start mining it with one single computer, even though I have millions of dollars and I can just spot buy. And you know,
that's not the way.
It's not the way. And I don't have close to enough time to explain to her why that's not fiscally reasonable. And she should just, you know, obviously I don't give financial advice, but if it were me,
you should try.
You know, I would just be spot buying and, you know, not waiting for my millions of dollars in fiat currency to lose another 40% in buying power over the next few years. It's sad is what it is. So, yeah.
What were you going to say, Hannah?
There's a comment from Crypto Shark. So if it came back down to 20, would you throw all of your money in at once or would you still DCA?
I would throw, if it came back down to 20, I would throw any excess cash I have around in, which is pretty much what I was doing before. I was, you know, basically every Friday, any extra money that would come in, I would put into Bitcoin, anywhere near 20, 21, 22, 17, 18, anywhere in that range. Yes, if it came back down again, I would be doing some substantial buys there because I do feel like that would be the final the final buying point before a lot of the fun really starts kicking off.
Yeah.
So, all right, we kind of already talked about this, but I'm going to set this up and kind of, I want to hear some of you guys' thoughts. This is TED Talks Macro. Great account when it comes to macro analysis of both Bitcoin and other, you know, global economic macro trends. But Bitcoin's now trading north of 30K. If you've rode it this far, it's probably a good time to think about de-risking, meaning like if you've bought anytime this year or anytime since November, basically. Probably a good time to think about de-risking, although I believe that true resistance is somewhere around 34K. Headwinds, US CPI tomorrow, which we're going to talk about. Traders likely to risk off in the event, risk a hot print forces market wide repricing. Now I don't see a hot print coming, but again, we're going to talk about that in a minute. Fed meeting minutes tomorrow. Again, I kind of mentioned this yesterday. Don't think that's going to be that dramatic of news because we pretty much already know what happens in the meeting. The minutes don't really tend to have that big of an impact, at least on the crypto markets. I don't know about equities and some of those other markets, but positioning, signs of froth up from here, perhaps leading prices higher, and plenty of large spot offers have been lifted. Overall, an environment that is conducive to buying the dip, but don't get caught overextending into the highs. That's just his kind of macro. And that was kind of what I wanted to ask from you guys. Like, if you were in pretty big, are you taking profits in the 30s, in the 40s, expecting a pullback, or are you just going to try to ride it all the way through? I know, Tim, you talked a little bit yesterday about, price going all the way to 50K and then retracing, approximate 50% retrace back down to these 25K levels. We looked at that again on this morning's stream, and then Frank had actually done very similar TA. Like Ben and I just in conversation pulled it up. Then Frank came up, showed it on the chart to the T. I mean, that would be exactly like what we saw in 2019. Yeah. So if that's your thesis, are you taking profits in the 40s, or are you just going to ride it up and then wait for it to come back down and accumulate more? Like, what's your strategy there? And yes, guys, I'm eating rotisserie chicken and broccoli. I have no idea how I'm going to eat this without making a giant mess. So just bear with me. I love doing this. I get to do my radio TA that people can back up. If you want to go look at your charts, look at your charts. This is how it's going to be. So I can give you a chart if you need one.
Well, I mean, it's fine. We can just radio this one. It's fun. This is the basement. We're gonna do something.
That's right.
So if you go back to 2019, and I did hear Frankie talked about this today. We're talking about that golden pocket. 50,000, 48,000, 50,000 is the golden pocket. Why are we talking about a golden pocket? Because that's what 2019 was. We rallied back up to the golden pocket in the bear market. But guess what you see on the daily chart? You'll see a candle close no higher than the 50% line. So not the golden pocket, 6. That was nice, right behind me, computer falling. That's great. You're great. That's great stuff. I can see it. Like, I'm trying to look at the camera, looking at people.
Extreme
but I get
TA.
to see the behind the scenes. This is one of the cool setups here for the basement. But anyway, so the candle closes at 50% at the 0.5 level. The wick goes up in the golden pocket, but that means within 24 hours, the price jumped from the 0.5 all the way up to 618, came back down. Same thing. Guess where the 0.5 is right now? We got a turtle in here too. It's at 42,000. I was talking with someone today, giving very much non-financial advice. The best way I put this is I try to tell people what I'm going to do,
right,
and then they can decide for themselves what they want to do. I'm going to take a little bit of profit at 42,000. The reason why is because that's where the 0.5 level is. Watch Bitcoin, which always loves to do things like it has done it in history and then fake us out. I kind of think it would be very poetic of Bitcoin to rally up to 49,900. And everyone's convinced now, all right, there we go. My sell order at 50,000 on the dot's going to be perfect. And then it stops and it goes back down. So I'm not going to put sell orders at 50,000. I'm going to put some at 42, which is the 0.5. And then I'm going to put some at 48,000, which is the peak back from last March in 2022. It's the bottom end of the golden pocket. I'm going to stay conservative. I love being conservative and saying, I think price is going here. So therefore, right here. So I'm going to take profit right here. I don't ever go to the exact stream. Same thing with buys. If I think price is dipping down here, I buy right here. I don't wait for it to come all the way down. So that's what I'm looking at right now. I think 36,000 is I said earlier, look at you have a bull flag right now that's starting to play out. 36,000 is going to hesitate for just a second. Then I think a push up to 42, it gets interesting. And potentially what happens is price hovers around 42, but one day and one day only, it wicks up to golden pocket and comes right back down.
That's good. No, I really like that. And that's a really good strategy for like you said, do your own research, follow your own goals and all that sort of stuff. But I think that's a pretty sound strategy there when you're looking at Bitcoin prices. Now, we've been talking a lot at the beginning of this year and this is something I've said multiple times, to be careful accumulating alts. Yes, altcoins are at good places to buy right now, but this is Bitcoin's part of the cycle, which we see in full display right now. I don't know if I even showed, well, that's not what I was trying to show. I don't even know if I pulled up the price. Did I start the show with the price?
No,
I didn't. Oh, what is this date? Get out of here. Yeah, all right, so here we go. We got Bitcoin coming in. Just so for you guys at home, and if you're listening on audio, I'm going to say all this out loud so you can follow along just like you're with us. So Radio TA is great, Tim, because this does all go to Apple Podcasts and Stitcher and all those kind of places as well. So if you guys want to listen along, or if you have a friend that doesn't watch YouTube but does listen to audio, send them this.
But rate us
podcast.
5 stars. Please give us a rating on podcasts.
Yes,
please.
and bring us back on. While we're doing all this rating and housekeeping stuff, smash that like button. Of
That's
course.
right.
Come on.
It's
Smash it.
Tuesday.
Yep.
Everybody's having fun. We got, I haven't even checked how many people we have in here. A couple hundred people in here.
Couple hundred.
Yeah,
We're
300
building it.
people in here. We could easily get 420 like goal today. Come on, guys.
Nina's in here.
Who's in here?
Where?
Nina, editing
Nina.
team.
Oh, wow.
Or is it Tristan?
No, that's Hannah.
Yeah.
That's of course Hannah's in here. So anyway, Bitcoin coming in at 30,153, Ethereum 1,900. It can smell 2,000. BNB 326, XRP holding 50 cents. If we look at top pumpers, I know there was some good movers on the day. Render, Nick's favorite, still on the move. Solana, Stacks, INJ. So a lot. Stacks one you guys talked about last Thursday or Friday is kind of an undervalued one. It's done extremely well this week, so hopefully some of you guys scoop some of that. Phantom, I don't know how I feel about Phantom. I keep going back and forth. I feel like I want to scoop some. I just never actually do. I've thought about, considered, contemplated, never actually pulled the trigger. It's like one of those things on Netflix where you see the title like 1,000 times and you, what is this? And you go watch the preview and you're like, oh yeah, I remember what this is now, but you never actually watch the show or the movie. That's how I am with Phantom right now with buying it. So might do well in the next cycle. So but on that note, and this is something I wanted to, maybe we'll look at it. Is it here? Yeah, I want to talk about this. So Digital Asset News posted basically, if you're looking at all of your stuff in BTC terms, a pump like this can hurt when you're looking at your altcoins a little bit. So obviously Bitcoin 6% pump, Ethereum, if you're measuring in your Bitcoin value, not in dollar value, you're down 3% on ETH, you're down 6% on your Tether, you're down a little bit on your BNB, you're down obviously on your USD coin, XRP, Cardano, Doge, all of these other altcoins you're still down on. And that's why I say it's very important to think about prices in Bitcoin terms rather than dollar terms, because you can be, all of these things are up in dollars right now. BNB, USD, Cardano, Doge, all of those were up on the dollar part of the portfolio, but down in Bitcoin. And so if you traded out of Bitcoin to get these altcoins, now you've lost money than if you had just held Bitcoin. So you always, when you're measuring your portfolio, when you're trading altcoins, you always want to be making sure you're buying altcoins that you think can outperform Bitcoin. That's the whole purpose. Otherwise, you could just buy Bitcoin. It's kind of like the S&P 500. If you think about for traditional traders, like if you're a stock trader or swing trader or whatever kind, and you're not beating the S&P, then what good are you really when you could just buy the index of the top companies and just be fine? So that's kind of how you want to be outperforming Bitcoin if you're a trader. In crypto, you want to be outperforming the S&P if you're a stock trader. But we've been looking at this dominance level. So with that, Bitcoin now sitting at 47.2, you can see, this is the Bitcoin dominance right here. It's almost printing like, if you, you guys hold
Scoot
on.
that a little bit.
So
Scoot
dominant.
that, baby.
Just man, it's way in here.
There we go. There it goes.
Yeah, here we go. So anyway, so this is where we're at right now, sitting. It doesn't even quite show the.
I don't think that's up to date. We're rallying right now. That looks. That's what we did a couple days ago.
Yeah, this doesn't look up. This is April 8th. Yeah, you're right. This is 45. Because I was gonna say it should be more up here.
Trash.
I wonder.
Yeah, we're sitting at 48.7 right now.
I wonder if we can.
Hell yeah.
Get
That's a pretty steep increase. Absolutely, 48%, and this data is at 46%.
I wonder. It's on TradingView, right?
Yeah.
Pull this down.
BTC.D.
Yeah.
BTC.D.
BTC.D.
Get that .D.
And
dominance.
what you said about valuing your crypto in terms of Bitcoin, I think is super important. Like Mason, I think his last name you say Vercellus. He came out on.
Hate that guy.
I thought he has some cool
he's
stuff
nice.
to say.
We like Mason.
And
you were joking, right?
He
Nick?
was
I'm
like,
joking.
he was calling out like, why are we so obsessed with valuing this currency towards an inflationary failing dollar? You know what I mean? We should really just continually look at the valuation in comparison to Bitcoin, because that helps us kind of navigate the market. Like, to DZ's point on that potential double top in that actual top being when inflation was less last cycle. You know what I mean? When the dollar's buying power was higher in the first pump, was statistically, you can argue that was the actual all-time high, the 63K at a stronger value dollar rather than 69K at a weaker dollar. So
Drew, I'm getting sick and tired of all your dollar FUD.
what?
Okay. TJ, I did have a question.
Yes.
Where can let's say I'm going to follow Tin the TA man's advice here, and I'm going to take some profits near some golden pockets and what have you. Where am I going to do that with my Bitcoin and not get scanned by the feds?
Scanned by the feds? Is that what you said? Or scammed?
Yeah, like where can I do this non-KYC?
You're asking for very specific. You're asking for very privileged information there, Nick. I mean,
The people need to know.
Look, it depends on how much you're using. You know, if you've got hundreds or thousands of dollars, not hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, Bitcoin ATMs, you can be now. You're gonna have to pay some fees to get lack of KYC there. There's also over-the-counter exchanges. Like if you're doing large sums, you know, Caleb and Brown is somebody we've used in the past. Now, I don't know. Caleb and Brown might require KYC. I don't know. Now, but different over-the-counter exchanges may or may not require KYC. There are ways. I'm trying to think of like if Wire and some of those other back-end payments for MoonPay, some of those kind of things. I think they do all require KYC or some level of KYC. I'm not. You can't quote me on that. There might be ways to do it through. Like a Shapeshift wallet and some of their.
So like wrap your Bitcoin essentially.
No, you would be swapping it for. You would still be swapping it for dollars and getting. The trick is getting the dollars to your. It's not hard to get your Bitcoin to dollars. It's hard to get your dollars into your account.
I'm not worried about that. I'm just talking about taking some Bitcoin profits so I can buy back in later. I want to do that like.
Oh, you can do that on all kinds of decentralized exchange. You could use Shapeshift to do that.
Okay.
You could use Edge Wallet to swap within it. I think Trust has. The Trust Wallet, you can do local swaps and that. So any kind of, Uniswap you can use to do a lot of those sorts of things.
But you have to wrap your Bitcoin.
You go to a stable coin.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but the trick is, I thought you were talking about actually getting it $2 and spending it. That's pretty tricky.
Don't worry about that. Yeah. That's for 2025.
That little guy?
That's future Nick's problem.
Right.
Don't worry about that little guy.
Yeah, you can still move into Tether, USDC. You can move into BNB, BUSD if you want. If you didn't like now, I actually kind of like that Binance has changed the way they're doing BUSD. So now you've got Tether and USDC. But if you really don't trust banks, you've got BUSD, which is backed by a basket, not just dollars. Now they've backed it with a BNB, Ethereum, Bitcoin, all that sort of stuff as well.
Nice.
What can we do atomic swaps on? Is that only within the Bitcoin wallet, or is that?
No, you can
on
do atomic
anything?
swap. You could do you could do that on a lot of different things, I think.
Okay. Because that's native Bitcoin to native something else. I'm pretty sure.
I like that
Right.
question.
Right. That's where Shapeshift really got their, or Thorchain is another one that's part of what they're one of the few. I think they've got a DEX. I can't remember what the name of it is. They're one of the few that does allow you native to native, like what you're talking about going from, and they're partnered somehow, or they definitely work together with Shapeshift and through some of that, but will allow you to go from native ETH to native Bitcoin one swap, which is pretty freaking cool.
That is great.
Which is why I've always liked Thorchain, and it's some of the tech stuff is interesting, but it may not seem cool or sexy. It's boring to a lot of people, but it's relevant for where we're headed. So
Exactly.
I did get this to pull up, so just if you guys wanted to see on TradingView coming in pretty much at 48-ish%.
Go to the week chart real quick.
The week,
The weekly chart.
Weekly? This man trades on the weekly?
Yeah. So connect. All right, so right there. So
Hold on, I
spread
gotta-
out just a little bit more.
Yeah, I got to pull in
Let's see,
2019.
what is that going back? We just need to see. I want to show them 2021, 2022, 2023. We broke key resistance
Yeah.
here just a little bit ago. So
I mean,
you,
so
you
here's
gotta
the
zoom in.
Here's the absolute peak we got to in 2019 was like 60% ish, and then obviously it fell down in to the 50s. So you're wanting to look over here?
Yeah, just that area there where there's a blood diamond right there. Yeah, so look at the first peak is going to be July, I believe, in 2021.
Where are you looking at? Here?
Back further, right there.
Yeah, August, July.
So if you were to draw a trend line from that peak to the next significant peak, which I believe is in June of 2022.
Oh shoot.
So summers.
Oh God.
Summers have been
Danger.
the place where Bitcoin decides to top out its dominance. But if you draw that trend line, that had held up, and just a couple of days ago when we were looking at the other thing, we rejected on it, and so it was like, okay, do we reject on this? We found support, and we just broke through it with
Interesting.
confidence.
You talking about a line like this, basically?
Well, no, up.
No.
So we're up.
Are you
to
talking about
connect the
starting
peaks,
from the
connect
bottom?
Peaks.
Straight across. Just go from left
Well,
to
that's
right.
what it's already doing. That there's already a line going across
Yeah,
there.
I
the blue
think
one?
it'd be easier if you zoomed in just that period, but yeah, it does. That's not necessarily it. It's
Oh,
keep
guys,
zooming
stream's
in.
over.
Here we go.
I'm so stressed out right now.
This is actually pretty fun. All right, keep zooming in. Just show us. Like, we don't want to see anything from 2020. We don't need to see anything on the chart from 2020.
Oh, why'd you
Just
tell me to
zoom
put
in.
it on the weekly then?
Enhance.
Well, I didn't know that when I was looking at mine. This
Yeah,
is
there you go.
how it worked out for me. All right, and then go to the right and make these candles spill
Yeah.
up more. All right, so just go to the very top of the top wick in July of 2021.
Talking about this
Right
August?
to the left. Right.
Oh, all the way up here.
Nope. You were right there. Right.
You're talking about this. This is June. This is August.
Yep. You see that the highest peak right there. This is fun.
Yes.
Yeah, right there. Click on that. Click
Okay.
click a trend line from there, and then connect
Oh, I
to
gotta
the
get the
next
trend line.
highest one. This is fun.
I'm just saying this is August.
Guys, this was a great episode of Blockchain
Oh,
Basement. Thanks
yeah.
for showing up.
Yeah.
All right. Now you're-
Don't forget to
connect over-
subscribe.
so keep going over to the next peak that's going to be 2020. Yeah, right there. All right. Now keep going. Just keep extending with that line touching. Broke through. So that just broke through.
That's what
And
you're
then
doing.
when you
Okay.
zoom in even further on that, you can see the confidence that it broke through it with. And the fact that those other two peaks were June and July of their years continues to fit with that theory, whether it be later May, whether early June, that Bitcoin dominance likes to find its peak right there during the summertime, June, July. So again, the fact that we broke through resistance, the fact that we are heading up towards 50K, it just continues what I was talking with yesterday of whether it's 50K or 42K, watch Bitcoin have a nice rally. We will peak out in the dominance. We'll come back down, and then altcoins find their season down the road later this fall.
See, this is what I want to look at. I want to look at 2019, where I mean,
I'm
this
glad we
is,
broke resistance because that just broke my autism.
yeah.
Oh,
I
It's
mean,
all
we're
done.
pretty much sitting very
all over.
similar to where we were. So here in 2018. This is when
Oh,
it took
baby.
a huge dive. That's May 2018, and then it rose. Well, that makes sense. This is the bear market all
it
through
rises
2018.
traditionally during bear markets.
Yeah, and it is acting very different in 22
Yeah.
than it did in 2019 or in
No.
23 than it did in 20. I mean,
There's-
2019 it was just like straight climb.
There's no QE.
In
no
2019,
QE.
And I believe 2019 is when they started the zips, the zero interest rate stuff. That's when interest rates started to go to basically like 1%.
that's when they started cutting them.
Yes,
Or they were. I thought they were
because it
already-
was 2018 basically until this year or last year is when they started doing the. It's like 4 or
hikes.
5 years of almost 0% interest rates.
I thought it was longer.
I
could be wrong.
feel like it was a little bit longer than that, but you're pretty close to what it was.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
addiction.
don't question me on this.
Yeah.
Bottom line, CoinMarketCap chart way dated. We're at 48% dominance. Should break 50. It looks like pretty easily we're going to break 50% at this point. I do like INJ. Somebody's asking, Frederick the
Oh.
Whale asking if we like injective protocol. I do. The
Frederick the
Cosmos
Little Whale.
ecosystem, pretty interesting one right now. Somebody was telling me the other day they're looking for improvement proposals to rethink the whole thing. So that's never a good sign. I don't know if that's true. That could be just total rumors. But that being said, outside of Cosmos, Osmosis, Dex on there, INJ is the next most interesting thing on that network, in my opinion. So yeah, it's something I keep an eye on. So all right, here we go. U.S. presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says Bitcoin gives the public an escape route when the bubble bursts. So couple of thoughts here. One, Nick, you're our local politician. What do you think? What do you think about his comments here? And two, does a U.S. presidential candidate have a chance running on a pro-Bitcoin campaign? Or basically an anti-dollar campaign?
There are no Kennedys that stand a chance of winning an election
Because,
of his last name.
right.
So, but an anti-dollar stance is not a winning political position. I'm sorry. Like you have to have better messaging other than dollar bad, it's going to zero, because no one wants to hear that. I'm sorry. Like it's just a really hard sell because 97% of people believe that the dollar is a store of value. I shit you not.
Mhm.
They think it's where you store your wealth. So if you're the guy who's saying, hey, where you're storing your wealth is actually going to zero, you're going to be like, screw you, dude.
That's not a very hopeful message.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So he's got to work on messaging. I think he would be great in the DeSantis cabinet. He would be a great lightning rod. He should be the head of the he should be the Surgeon General for all I care.
Hey,
Do you not think though there's a little bit of thought? Not that I'm a political genius by any means. But obviously, he's trying to go against Joe Biden. He
Mhm.
wants the Democratic nomination. The approval rating of Biden is not high. Do you think he's not trying to do some fear mongering by saying that just to continue the downward fall of Joe Biden's approval ratings, so that it's very obvious that Democratic nomination is up for grabs, and whether he gets it or not, somebody else can.
I
Like, is this
hear.
potentially the Democratic Party saying, we actually kind of need to find an excuse to get Biden out of here, so let's
No.
fearmonger the people.
No.
You
They
don't
don't
think
need
so?
any excuse to get Joe Biden out because Joe Biden is unelectable. They're going to nominate Kamala Harris, and it's going to be Gavin Newsom versus Kamala Harris in the primary. That's the way it's going to be. Robert Kennedy is going to be this wacky third-party candidate. And to your point, if you want to FUD Joe Biden, first of all you have to do is let Joe Biden talk. He does all the FUD himself. And if you want a topic to talk about, all you have to do is look at the remaining polls, at the most recent polls, saying what are Americans most concerned about? They're most concerned about inflation, and they're also most concerned about the moral character of this country falling apart. That is, I think it's 68 or 78% of Americans believe that the country is headed in the wrong direction.
Really?
Yeah.
All you have to do is
Yeah.
take a moral argument and say, look, the country has lost its soul. Joe Biden was the unifier. And then literally 6 months afterwards, he said, hey, guess what? If you're unvaccinated, enjoy your winter of death.
Hell yeah.
So like he does it to
Oh, God.
himself. And if you are Robert Kennedy and you want a better narrative, I'm sorry. I'm a Bitcoin maximalish. Bitcoin is not the message right now. That's the dictator has spoken.
Oh,
I
wow.
was guaranteed death and devastation
Yes.
over the winter.
How did we survive?
I don't know. I made it.
Damn it, Joe.
I know.
I just like Ralphie's comment. He says, I watch Biden and think, nah, they can't be serious. It's got to be a joke.
It's
We're all in a
literally
simulation. Don't worry.
a
My
show.
wife
Yeah.
doesn't even believe he's real.
He's a
at this point.
marionette puppet.
It's a
Yeah.
show, and we are the audience.
Okay,
That's
look
true. Yeah.
here.
Political
Do an
theater.
ISO on me. The deep state has their hand
Oh,
so far. Meow, 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 meow.
Okay.
Ice cream.
Well, I'm sorry I asked about politics.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. Thank you. Nick, that's
Thank you,
the,
Nick.
all I got.
the Nick Tater's rant of the day. Political rants with Nick. You can come here on Tuesdays for that. It's going to be interesting. I do think it's going to be a talking point. Obviously, the trade war is here. The dollar is under attack. What are the solutions? I think it's going to be tough for anybody to win presidency that's not laying out a plan on how to defend the dollar. In my opinion, like us as a nation, and it'd be pretty hard. Like if you talk about Trump, like he was pretty anti-Bitcoin at the time because it was a threat to the dollar.
Which
It
is
a
weird because
threat.
he's orange man. You would think he'd be for orange coin.
You'd think, but it is a threat to the dollar. So you'd think a country that has a global reserve currency would want to be defending that at all costs. So I think it's going to be very hard to get somebody elected that's going to be anti the U.S. dollar, in my opinion.
Hey, they're gonna defend it. They're not gonna defend it financially. Okay.
No, yeah, they'll defend it. Yeah, physically.
Yeah.
You're talking about with tanks and
B2s.
yeah. I know. I saw you guys' war positioning tactical talks in the research group the other day. I was like, oh man, it's going.
Hey,
down.
they never listened to me. It's already happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so here we go. This is speaking of the issue with banks and banking. And like you guys hear us talk about this a lot of like, well, Bitcoin, part of the value of Bitcoin is it banks the unbanked. It's permissionless, and you don't have to be given access to it for countries all around the world. And this is a real problem. Here's the story, I think.
Oh yeah, we covered this on the.
Yeah, you guys talked about this on Around the Blockchain
Yeah, yeah.
yesterday. Banks are closing customer accounts with little explanation. So everyday people are getting their bank accounts closed with no warning or recourse. It's safer for a bank to kick someone out rather than deal with compliance, such as the nature of bank de-risking. Dealing with it is your problem. Basically meaning like, look, if there's somebody here that doesn't have a lot of money and they could potentially cause us a problem, we're just going to cancel our services with them rather than having to deal with some kind of regulation issue, which sounds great to the regulators. They're like, great, that's exactly what we want. But if you scale that over time, and that's where a lot of the problems come in with a lot of these minor trade-offs, is over time, there's either moral hazard or things just start to trend the wrong direction. And this is basically, Voorhees summed it up really well here. He said, if the average cost of compliance per customer rises faster than the average cost of, or than the average revenue per customer, accounts will continually be closed or will be continually closed at the margins. The cost of compliance is thus borne largely by the least privileged in society. So this is exactly the mechanism that slowly regulates lesser having people out of the system, and it becomes banking just becomes a luxury of the elites. Like if you don't have enough money for us to bank you safely and fear that there's no KYC, no anti-money laundering, no potential. They do it all under the name of terrorism, saying like, oh, if we don't know exactly who you are and where you're sending all this money, it could be a terroristic thing.
North Korea.
Yeah, we're just going to cut you off from our services. But what it does is it leaves so many non-criminal, regular, real, caring human people cut off from the banking system, cut off from the world economy, cut off from being able to buy, sell, and transact with people all over the world. And the tools are there. The internet is there, and things like Bitcoin make this possible. And the cost of banking somebody on Bitcoin is next to nothing compared to like Chase or Bank of America or Wells Fargo. The cost to do those are insane. And that's the other thing that kills me. The power cost and the energy cost and the footprint of, if you think about like installing a banking system in a small village in Africa, a bank, to build a bank, they would never do it because the economic incentives are way out of whack. You're never going to make your money back building a bank there. But hey, if they can download this piece of software, now you can be able to transact with people all over the world. Like that is a beautiful thing. That is the revolution. That is what makes Bitcoin technology amazing. It's going to take 15, 20 years for a lot of people to wake up, the rest of the world to really come around to this. But 15 years from now, I think the world will be operating in a much more efficient way thanks to the invention and the revolution of Bitcoin and what it does to the banking services and the banking industry, because the way it's operating right now is just a joke.
TJ, I want to get your input on this. Do you think the banking system is inadvertently starving themselves of oxygen?
Yes.
Okay, because there was a tweet going back to just how we're in this like 2FA hellscape. Some guy said a parking meter, 1980. Park, walk out of your car, put in a quarter, walk away. Now, get out of your car, you look at your license plate number, look at the area code.
It's a nightmare.
That you're in, and then you got to like open up, download an app.
Yeah, you got to download an app. Yeah.
Scan a QR. It's like a 15-step process.
Yep.
Yeah.
To do what?
Right, to pay your parking.
Like $2?
To pay for your parking.
I tried to pay for parking that way in Asheville when I went on a vacation, and the system was down. When I couldn't even. I was just going to get a ticket.
So I guess it's free
the,
parking. So like, do they not know? I guess TJ's my question is: you agree that they're starving themselves for oxygen?
Yes.
Do they not know that they're doing it? Are they that dumb?
Yeah, yes and no. I do think they're unaware. I think they get slowly removed from their client base to feel like that they're doing a good job. But the best articulation I've heard, if that's a word, right? Articulation.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm sorry, guys, I'm homeschooled.
So
no, I'm just kidding. Homeschoolers are smarter than other people. Don't believe what they tell you.
1000%.
That's true. I'm sorry. This test scores prove it. Sorry.
Are you saying
Let's
that?
do it, baby. Let's go.
No. Now I forgot what I was saying.
You're articulating. They're getting distant
the best
from the
articulation of this point was, and you guys have heard me say this before, Andreas Antonopoulos, Money as a System of Control. It exists on YouTube. Here, I'll pull it up right now so you guys can see exactly what it looks like. Andreas. Oh, that's not how you spell Andreas.
I can't believe you think that not indoctrinating your children into control systems.
It's a government program. That's all school is. What do you think they're going to do? You think they want them smart? No, they want them compliant. It's a compliance factory.
It teaches them how to like show up on time and do the bare minimum.
This video right here, you'll see him sitting in this room. It's called Cryptocurrency Explained: Money as a System of Control. It's got 127,000 views 5 years ago. And he basically in 17 minutes explains exactly why the banking system is in this situation. It was due to, a lot of people know about, when we broke the gold standard, but Richard Nixon also created something called the Bank Secrecy Act, which, sounds like they'd be keeping a lot of secrets. No, it means you have to give all of your information on all of your customers to the government for any point at any time. And he said in that moment, what they did is they deputized the banking system as a form of law enforcement that is outside of the judicial system, that is outside of the legislative system. So they basically made a new form of not government really, but control. Yep. That's completely outside of the checks and balances that our Constitution created.
That's so great.
And so by doing that, it allowed the banking system they got a lot of benefits from it. but he describes it as like a golden cage that they built themselves into, that they can't innovate, they can't go after these new markets because it doesn't serve the greater good of the people that are running the system. So anyway, I'd recommend all of you guys go watch that video. It's one of my favorite ones. And Andreas Antonopoulos in general, one of the best at explaining cryptocurrency. I mean, this is great. This is where he tricks everybody. This is where he helps everybody understand, like, hey, the money you have in your bank account, that's not your money. You guys should know that. You're attorneys. Like, it's the bank's money. You just have a contract with them that says they're going to give it back to you at a certain rate. This explains it all so well. So yeah, everybody go watch that. But yes, I do think they're doing it to themselves. And it's only gonna get worse.
Wow.
Only gonna get worse.
Wow.
So
You guys want to know a fun fact?
yes, I love fun facts.
Because I can't tell if you were telling the truth or not. Were you homeschooled
I was homeschooled, yes.
for a whole life?
Yeah, pretty. I mean, went to homeschool schools and
Okay.
stuff, but yes, pretty much
My
all the way
first
through.
day ever in a classroom was in college.
No way.
No
There you go.
way.
Another
I was
homeschooler.
Preschool through 12th grade. Yeah.
Mhm.
The
Okay, hold on, real
homeschool-
quick. How did y'all learn like math,
We
like
did. No, I'm just
complicated math?
Yeah. Well, I had math teachers. So like a lot of people assume when
Yeah.
you're homeschooled, it's just your mom teaches you all the time. And
Yeah.
my mom really taught us through about 4th grade.
Yep.
And then once we hit about 5th grade, we'd go to class. You know, we'd have teachers for different subjects, and I'd
For
go like
tutors.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or
Yep.
Tuesday, Thursday. Yeah, tutors is another. But it
Yeah.
really was like a co-op. It was designed very similar to college, where you take the classes, you get an hour and a half lecture, you get
Yep.
assignments, you go home, you do your assignments. So like chemistry, I had a chemistry team. You know, like I was doing real science experiments, all that sort of stuff. But that's a very common question.
Well,
Everybody
the
has
other thing
that.
is, not every homeschooler's.
That's true.
There's a
I
lot
will
of-
say,
Yeah.
There's a
Go
lot
ahead.
of people that are, a lot of people that aren't. But here's the thing: is it allows every kid to do their own pace.
Yep.
And some kids that are advanced, like okay, so here's another fun fact. I got to spend my junior and senior year doing nothing but playing sports and working full time. I worked full time ever since I was 16.
Nice.
So I graduated at 15 years old
Mhm.
Yeah,
because I
so
just
it's
went through
so
everything
nice.
ridiculously fast. Now,
Yep.
I wish I hadn't, because 2 years off of school and getting into college and getting back into college was kind of fun. But with other kids, like you're gonna have some kids. My brother, he had to go all the way through.
Yeah.
Mhm.
He had learning disabilities and stuff, but he went to college and did everything. Others, you can just get stuff done fast. You can finish
Yeah.
school by midday and have a great afternoon. Go
Mhm.
play sports.
Mhm.
Go do whatever you want to do. Have a normal life and not sit in class all day long.
Well, I
I would have
love-
loved that.
Yeah, I
would've
love
done
what
it
you said
myself.
too, that it's not for everybody, because that's what I tell people all the time. It's not for all
not.
kids. It's not for all parents. Because
you-
and it takes both. So both
Yeah.
my sister and I were homeschooled all the way through. My brother was generally in school pretty much like 2nd grade on, pretty much all the way through in private school. Just because he needed no reason other than he just needed the structure. He was not as self-driven like what Tim was saying. I was the same way. I'd get up, knock my school, get all of it done. By noon 1, I was ready to go play, do whatever different stuff. He would waste a bunch of time all day and then like not do any of his work, and then I'd be like, hey, let's go play, and then then he'd end up getting in trouble. So
Are you
all right.
planning to do that with your kids?
Yeah, I am planning to. Yeah, I would love to homeschool. We've got the first one on the way here in July, and
We
then,
should start a co-op, TJ, because there's enough kids here that we could do it.
I'll
You
teach
guys,
'em.
You
there's
will?
more.
Awesome. That'd be
just,
great.
just
We
got
might
to
do
You're
co-op.
hired.
Yeah.
more kids born. Hold on, I gotta
Are
find
we gonna
this.
say true?
Well, I just want to show a picture of my chicken real quick.
Oh, there's Drew's
Aw.
There's
chicken.
my little chickie chick, little
Big-
born
well,
chickie
never
chick.
mind.
That's a
right there.
whole.
Choose a
That's a
dad.
whole class right
Yeah.
there.
There you
right.
go. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's science. There you go. There's a
And-
life science right there.
Biology.
Usually-
Anatomy.
Money is a great motivator to teach you how to handle math. That's
Oh, yeah.
like I did
Mhm.
not care about math until money was behind it, and I could run my own businesses when there's a money initiative, and then
Mhm.
figure out architecture and design and mechanical engineering if I cared about it, if there's a goal. But
I love it. Crimson or Chemistry Bro says he's going to come teach chemistry for our community. So
Heck
yeah,
yeah, bro.
No.
What are we going to call it? Hit science class coming soon.
he's going to have to join the Bit Lab.
2029. Yeah, the bit.
We'll
lab would be
upgrade. You know that Elon Musk did that. Elon Musk hated the school system, so he hired a former school teacher
Mhm.
to start like a little school. It's like homeschool, so his kids and a couple other kids, but it completely changed the way that kids learn. It allows kids to go at their own pace, so it's like hybrid homeschooling.
Yeah,
You could build the
That's
same community
when
here. Yeah.
that was one of my $1 million ideas for an alternative college. I forget. I had a really good name for it, like the college experience or something like that. I can't remember what it was called, but it's basically a environment where you were going to go get ex executives, like retired people, like people that ran Fortune 500 companies at a really, really high level. I'm talking like Bill Gates, maybe not an Elon Musk, but anybody like that. That's top level retired, and then you create like basically like a simulation based where there aren't classes per se, but to Drew's point, you're running businesses, and you can go into debt and see how that works out.
Yep.
And if it blows up, it's all like sandbox trading money, like nothing really matters. You're running a coffee shop for the people on site, and anyway,
So
it'd be a lot of work.
TJ, you know what my
That's
dad
my
used to
retirement
do
job.
where for our homeschooling, we had a finance class that when I was like in 7th grade and my brother was in 6th grade or whatever, we had to compete in SimCity. He would give us
That's awesome.
He would give us a budget, and he had said, okay, at the end of the week, whoever has the biggest city wins the assignment.
Dude, you're giving me
Yeah.
flashbacks.
That's
to
awesome.
Yeah,
Oh.
SimCity, bro. If you want
SimCity
to learn
was
about
just-
finance and budgeting
You're talking about the original SimCity.
on the computer,
Yeah.
SimCity
for sure.
2000, right?
SimCity 2000.
He wouldn't let
Yeah.
you use custom maps though, right? You gotta use like the real maps. Because there's the easiest hack where you go get a completely flat map and you go put a giant mountain in the corner, and then you do the whole thing with hydro power the whole thing all the way down, and you can
Oh,
run the
yeah.
most massive, amazing. Like,
we
but-
were too young to understand that
Yeah.
level of complexity. But
Nick,
yeah,
you're older
that's
than
what we
me.
did.
Shh.
Yeah, at that
I'm
time.
just messing with you.
At that
All right,
time.
we'll get back to crypto. So coming up, looking like inflation might be heading in the direction that the Fed wants it to on some of their numbers. But so some notes on U.S. inflation. The Cleveland Fed are forecasting tomorrow's CPI inflation numbers at 5.22 year over year, previously at 5.99. So the headline number coming down. 5.66 year over year, previously 5.53 for the core. So the core, which is really the main one that they watch, still not coming down.
The core is for manufacturing costs, right?
No, the core is all the other inflations minus gas and food.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
all the core stuff you spend all the time, that's
Yeah.
not core.
Oh, okay.
minus gas.
That's nice they labeled it that way.
Yeah.
And it's
I like
still
that.
going up, even
That's
without because it's the food, I would imagine, that's really hurting them
Oh,
on that
food
stuff.
is insane. It's like 12% inflation.
Headline projected to come down significantly versus prior, but core to remain elevated. Elevated core inflation will likely translate to speculation on another 25 basis point hike in May, which again, that's already being priced in. We were looking at that yesterday. Some quick stats on the past 12 months of the Cleveland Fed inflation forecast, which they've been, from my memory, they've been on it pretty well since April 22. Actual data is printed in line or below the Cleveland Fed's headline forecast 73% of the time. Since September, 100% of the time on the core inflation. On this event, forcing higher prices for risk assets. I think that the market wants to see core print lower than consensus and ideally lower than the previous month. I agree. Worth noting that the last month, the Fed's preferred measure of inflation, PCE, rose less than expected, plus posted its smallest increase since October 21.
What?
And this is suggestive of faster than expected disinflation. Fuels speculation that the Fed are close to ending their tightening cycle. However, tomorrow's CPI print could buck that trend and point to higher PCE inflation later in the month. PCA is correlated with the lags, CPI inflation, yada yada yada. So is tomorrow? So the meeting is tomorrow. They don't have they're not potentially raising tomorrow, are they?
I think it'll be another
It's
quarter.
May, right?
You think it's
It'll be
quarter?
Is it
another
tomorrow?
quarter.
I think it's tomorrow.
It's this week.
It
Oh.
is. I kept thinking it was in May. I don't know.
CPI is this week too.
CPIs this week, but not FOMC.
No?
No,
No,
I don't
no
think
FOMC
so.
meeting
That's
till
just
May.
the minutes, I think, is this
Yeah,
week.
the minutes
just
from the
minutes, yeah.
last meeting come up, but I don't think the
Oh,
next one
okay.
comes
Yeah,
out until
April's-
May.
April's a break.
Yeah, there you go. So we got May, but it's early May, so we got a couple more weeks, and then I still think they will raise 25 basis points right here in May, which could take the, like if we've, and this is part of what we covered before too, like there weren't really a lot of bearish headwinds stopping Bitcoin from running up into the mid 30s or even up into the low 40s in the next week or two. So that might be where, like, if we're running up into the 40s, we get another Fed rate hike, price pulls back down a little bit, another bearish catalyst pulling us back down to that 20K level. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see because Bitcoin, it's doing very well in spite of,
Right.
I feel like, a lot of pretty negative macroeconomic news. Like
Yep.
it's positive for Bitcoin, but to normal people, it seems really negative. So it'll be really interesting to see, like, what if we do get all the way up to 40 or 50K, what is the bearish narrative that will bring us all the way back down to 25? You got it?
I do got it.
What's that?
It is commercial real estate.
Hey, that's a good pick.
That is a good
That's a
pick.
good
I like
pick.
it.
It's not going to be residential real estate. It is going to be
Empty
Commercial.
offices.
empty offices and blue city centers
Fleeing.
that are no longer inhabitable. I think by 25, San Francisco will be 60% vacant.
You saw the Cash App guy in San Francisco, right?
It will, yeah, that's part of it.
That
So
was,
that's actually now that happened, it may be 62% vacant.
yeah.
But yeah, that is going to be the thing that sets off the actual recession, the capital R recession, the one we've all been waiting for. We've been edging for the past year.
Oh yeah.
That will be it.
You get me excited.
And you think, and so more or less, you think there'll be defaults on loan, because all that
Yes.
rolls up into debt as
It'll
well.
be-
I mean,
Yeah, it'll be defaults on loans from companies that have been solvent and performers for the past 50 years because it's all commercial real estate. And if there was ever a real estate that was going to be the one that was good to have, it was commercial real estate. Who in their right mind 4 years ago, if you would have said, hey, you know what? A bunch of these Manhattan commercial real estate owners are going to go under, everyone would say you're insane.
Yeah.
But the abandonment rate in Manhattan and San Francisco and Los Angeles and Chicago is off the charts.
Yeah.
So these
Absolutely.
institutions are going to take a giant L, and then the big four, the banks that are what are the GS globally important bank something, those are going to take a giant hit on the chin.
Do you
and then what's
think-
going to have to happen is they're going to have to print that money.
Do you
Let's
think
go.
that this might play into possibly derivatives or pension markets from the commercial
I
real
heard
estate?
just the other day the Chicago pension fund is insolvent
Oh yeah.
and it is running out this year.
Ooh.
It's a $44 billion pension fund and it has no money in it.
Wow.
It has $44 billion worth of entitlements that it is owed, and it has no money in it.
jeez. That's
So-
what Will Yum saying that in the chat too.
Yeah.
Pension funds will get killed due
Oh,
to
yeah.
commercial real estate. So
Yep.
I guess, are you saying pretty much they've done, like just like we've seen in real residential with mortgage-backed securities, they've done that with commercial real estate as well, where they roll them all up, turn it into security, sell it to a pension fund, basically, and now when those aren't getting paid, there's nothing
It
coming.
wasn't even that nefarious. It was they got locked down to death. That was it.
Yeah.
And so you add in lockdowns. All the blue states never opened back up
Hey.
fast enough.
Hold on though. They
Right?
solved
So
the
they
flu.
all- They did. They solved. So they basically gave themselves a stroke,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you had a bunch of peaceful protests that lit those blue states and blue city centers on fire and pushed out the remaining small business owners. So they all fled. They
Yeah.
all fled. All the capital flight. Drew,
Yeah.
keep
Well,
your pants on.
I-
Capital
I
flight
can
has
only
happened
get so erect.
Yeah.
Please stop.
I think-
Welcome.
You
I
know.
think it'd be good at some point
to
in
the
show,
rice fields.
It'd be good at some point in the show to do a topic that Nick cares about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we need
that's-
something that'll get Nick fired up. Yeah. He's just too docile.
What about the blockchain bunker someday?
It's all this tea,
Blockchain
bro.
bunker. It's I'm counting on you building one, Drew, but we're not supposed to talk about it.
All right.
That's
All right.
part of that's kind of rule
Well,
number
they-
one of building
you
the
know.
bunkers. Don't tell everybody.
They're
you
not
got a
gonna
bunker.
know. Who's gonna? It's fine. No one knows me.
It's in Panama.
Yeah.
Crypto Stevo, is it just my wife or does TJ look good in black? Hey,
TJ looks great. Look at this guy.
it might be. Are you saying me and your wife both
Yeah, I
look
was
good
gonna
in black?
say
Is that what
your
you're trying to say?
ex-wife.
Whoa.
Yeah. I don't know. what
By the
you're
way,
saying.
Justin's son was not arrested. That's
Yeah.
that's a rumor.
That's
okay.
fine.
That did not happen.
They always do that in the chat. They're just trying to get you to say that.
Poor guy.
All right, so Caleb Franzen, he put this thought out there, and we've talked about this a little bit, but I wanted to kind of
Caleb
get you guys.
Franzen, hate that guy.
He
Get
loves
out.
Caleb Franzen. Everyone thought that Ethereum's merge to proof of stake was going to be a major catalyst for more upside. It turned out to be a buy the rumor, sell the news event. Everyone now thinks that the Shanghai upgrade is going to be a major catalyst to the downside. Is this a sell the rumor, buy the news event?
Ooh.
Don't care. It's Ethereum.
Oh, Nick, you love Ethereum.
I mean,
You
that's
don't like
an interesting
Ethereum,
take.
Nick?
Really?
Yeah.
We want to know.
This is TJ show. TJ go.
No,
No.
I think, in my opinion, I do think the Shanghai upgrade that a lot of people are talking about, as far as unlocking all of the ETH, that it could put, all this ETH that have been locked into ETH2 now could potentially be back on the market and sold. I think that's getting overblown quite a lot. I don't think it's going to be a major. Look, I'd put them both in a pretty long-term major. Amazing technical feat, amazing long-term bullish. The merge I'm talking about for Ethereum over time, reducing the inflation rate of Ethereum. It's going to have a dramatic impact. It probably already has had a dramatic impact, in my opinion.
That is intense.
Sorry, Howdy.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, Howdy.
but realistically, on the moment, like price wise, immediate action, it didn't have pretty dramatic. It was kind of a non-event. It was a big event that really price chart wise, like if you were looking at the price chart of Ethereum, you wouldn't be able to pick out that's where the ETH merge happened. I think this is going to be very similar. I don't think you're going to be able to be looking at the chart and be like, oh, boom, that's when the Shanghai fork happened and all that ETH got unlocked. I think it's going to be, it's going to happen. We might see a little bit of volatility on the day, but nothing long-term, nothing really all that dramatic in my opinion. So if it dumps on that day, I will use it as an opportunity to accumulate, because I do feel like, you know, we're the time to get some of the best bear market accumulation buys for these projects that you like is for the major ones, Bitcoin, Ethereum, really top 5, top 10 projects is starting to dwindle, in my opinion. You know, like there is still time. There's still a pretty, you know, you got several months left to be accumulating, but the best accumulation points are getting fewer and further in between, if that makes sense. So if this turned into one of those moments where, hey, all this FUD happens, Shanghai fork happens, Ethereum price, you know, say it happened today and the Ethereum price went from 1900 back to 1800. Again, not going to make or break anyone or anything, but if I can get Ethereum at 1800 when Bitcoin's at 30,200, you know, I'll sit on that, and then I'll be pretty happy when Ethereum's pushing 10K. But do you have any thoughts on next cycle top Ethereum price, Tim? I haven't heard any. I know a lot of where everybody else lands, but
You mean like bull market, or you
bull
mean
market.
Like
So like, bull market peak. We're talking end of
New all-time high.
Yeah, new all-time. New all-time high. Yeah.
Yeah, I on Investing Bros, I actually one of the I don't even know if I did this on the episode. I think I did it in a Discord with our community. I talked about if we were to see $11 trillion, there's a lot of things saying like this next bull market could see crypto get to about $11 trillion.
For sure.
And if we see everything kind of stick to what it's done in the past in bull markets, Ethereum's looking at closer towards a $15,000 to $20,000 market, the price per coin. Sorry, it was next up there. 17. My number, I went with 17. I kind of split down the middle. I think 17K for Ethereum is a very realistic. And some of this is even hard to kind of measure with Ethereum because it is now burning tokens. I mean, that deflationary aspect of it is actually going to make it really hard to predict what happens there. So who knows? I mean, it could go a lot higher and still not be, you know, taking over #1 spot over Bitcoin. But it could have a very impressive price this next bull market, and there's only so many factors you can kind of use to predict, and there's so many unknowns.
I agree.
I like that. I'm more pessimistic, but I hold Ethereum, so that makes I was thinking like 8, maybe 10, but I just expect difficulty, and I can't have.
If we don't get to 11 trillion with the market cap total crypto, then yeah, maybe. But if we get 11 trillion, even if Ethereum still dropping in dominance, being its lowest dominance ever, would still be sitting above 12, 15. So.
I mean, that's I'm really bullish on Ethereum right now, at least for this cycle. I feel like it's got a really, as far as the risk reward, it's got a really high upside and a lower downside than a lot of the other altcoins right now. So
all of you are wrong, but all right.
We all know Nick loves proof of work, so he's gonna.
No, I mean I do, but it's just all the Ethereum layer 2s are gonna suck the wind out of Ethereum's market cap. So like Ethereum, you're just gonna buy a couple ETH for gas fees, and then everyone else is gonna be doing stuff on Arbitrum and Optimism, blah blah blah, because. That's where it's all going to go.
That's true too. I think the ETH layer 2s will also be big winners, but I don't think they will suck the wind out. Like I think they will all rise together. Now you're saying maybe that means maybe Ethereum only gets to 8 or 9K because you've got a lot of the market cap sitting in layer 2s, which I can hear that. But I think Ethereum layer 2s will both be strong winners over the next couple of years. And speaking of breaking, this is the last thing we have time for today, but rumors of Twitter planning to offer buying and selling of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrencies. Other, clearly means Doge. What do you guys think? A good thing, a bad thing? Twitter selling or being basically an exchange or a swap site for Bitcoin, Ethereum, and others. What do you think, Drew? Good or bad?
I think it's really good. I think that this kind of move, Elon is one of the few people in America that's tied into the infrastructure of what this country does with SpaceX, the Boring Company, who does a lot of public work. He could move forward with this and put it in place and be like, come and take it, basically, technologically speaking. I think that he's capable of doing so. I'm cautiously optimistic on Elon Musk because of Neuralink, as you can all imagine from my standpoint. But I think it would be insanely bullish for cryptocurrency to see this as a payment option, or any sort of payments and receiving on a social network using Bitcoin and Ethereum is absolutely insane. It would open up a lot of FOMO for the mainstream media to dig into, and it'd make things pretty firework like, in my opinion. So
Nice. Yeah, I was going to ask Hannah, like, we know Elon Musk has talked about turning Twitter. When he first got it, he was saying he wants to make it potentially an everything app, maybe make it this X everything app. We don't really have a lot of everything apps right now in the United States. I mean, the closest thing it gets compared to a lot is WeChat, where they can, they can buy and sell, and they message, they do all sorts of things. Basically, everything you need to do is all in this one app. Do you see Twitter going in that direction? If we were able to buy and sell, crypto within there, I'm just curious to hear your thoughts on an everything app type of concept. You think that'd be something you would use? And do you see buying and selling, transacting through crypto as being part of that?
Yes, definitely. We were talking about this recently too. We were talking about Vine and how Vine got shut down. I looked into it, and it was actually bought by Twitter, and they just buried it because they weren't going to invest in it. They didn't see it as an investment. So that technology is technically owned by them, I guess, now still. So that would be a competitor for TikTok. I know Elon wants to work video content into the app. TikTok has a lot of controversy. He already put Doge as the logo, so he's kind of hinting at it. He said that he wants to integrate crypto. I definitely could see it becoming a reality in the future, and I think everybody would use it, especially if it was like WeChat or WhatsApp. They would have to. Like, that's how people contact me from China. They're always in my emails.
Yeah, there you go. And that's perfect. WeChat's like an email, direct message. They can transact. They can buy, sell stuff. It's kind of the closest thing we would have here is probably Meta with Facebook Marketplace and social networking and all that sort of stuff. But it's not really even a close comparison. So, I mean, Nick, what do you think? Twitter adding buy sell features, I'd be curious if they let you go from dollars to it, because then you're basically money changer services. I mean, do you see them actually pulling this off, or is it mostly marketing?
It's hard to say. It's really hard because Elon's already in a precarious enough position with his businesses and his political affiliations, and the Twitter files blowing up many a narrative. Is he going to try and like make a new enemy of the entire banking sector? Does he really want Elizabeth Warren on his case all the time?
Do.
I don't really know what the upside is for this besides being some sort of like marketplace, but I don't know. I don't understand the business math of it right now.
I don't know if business math has much to do with his intention. I don't know. I mean, he seems to waste a lot of money and not worry about it. And his remarks on that SpaceX failure that happened yesterday, one of their huge rockets fell, and he's like, yeah, you got to break some eggs to make an omelet. I think that he's one of the types of people that will lose a substantial amount of money in a larger kind of path that he's taken. He's shown it with the Boring Company and all these different systems that he's put in place. He's pretty well spread out. I think that his involvement with that government actually gives him a little bit of an upper edge on them, because they rely on his SpaceX systems to a degree too. So
I don't trust him at all.
Yeah.
Well, trust, that's a whole other thing. What they will do versus what we want them to do versus what we think they're going to do. All totally different things. That's about all we have time for today. Bitcoin still holding strong at 30,200. We've got about 400 plus of you guys in the chat. If you could all smash the like button before you go, should make it pretty easy to hit our like goal today. We really appreciate that. As always, appreciate everybody in here. I appreciate all of you guys. Will Yum Yum, Crypto Stevo, Butt Pirate, Blazing 2JZ, Gary's Guzzler, Raymond Sefadi, Sincere. Let's see. We got Paper Hands, Moonboy, Big Hands Dan, Manly Crypto, Mr. Techno Goody, Crimson Caravan Company, Manawak, Casino Doggy, White Rabbit, Dude What Is Mine Say, Joey Daniel, Ninja Glock, Pooin 78 Div. We love all of you guys. We will be back 1:15 in the basement. Talk to you guys tomorrow.
See you at the top.
See you at the top. Enjoy the gains. It's a happy green day.
Bye.